Good morning, good morning,
Hello.
good morning. I feel like it's still morning. I still ain't see twins.
Good evening. Good afternoon. Welcome
Can you hear
everyone
me?
tuning in today. Loud and clear. Can you hear me?
Okay, now.
You chopped a little bit. Are you out? Uh-oh. Welcome everybody. This is the real deal versus how you feel. I'm your host, Twinsinc, with Miss I Speak Life. Hope everybody's having a great Friday. TGIF. Thank God it's Friday. You know, I hope everybody's got great plans lined up for the week. Want to send a big shout out and love to the people in Houston, Texas. I know y'all going through it right now. Listen, I feel y'all pain. I understand. I'm in Atlanta, Georgia, so I know exactly what the water's like when it's really bad out there. But keep our heads up. To the people out there down there that, I rock with you. All love. But yes, ladies and gentlemen, as we get started here, the conversation today is hip hop to blame for destroying our black community? That is the topic today. And we're waiting for Mrs. I Speak Life. She might got a phone call coming in. And sometimes I might knock you off, but we here live and direct. Live and direct. Hope everyone's having a great day. But you think about it, ladies and gentlemen, think about it. Is hip hop to blame for destroying our black community? Who is really to blame? I want you to think about this for a minute here, right? Ponder it. Is it the rappers that's putting the music out the cause that our youth is doing certain things that they're doing? I grew up listening to hip hop. I love hip hop. Think about this as well. What's the difference between hip hop and actors? What's the difference? Right? I want y'all to think about these things. It's not just Miss Speak Life. Your mic's muted, so I'm here.
I'm sorry. I'm here. I have a bad connection. I'm trying to get it together.
All right, all right. I can hear you loud and clear, so you're good right now. So I don't know where you at, but if you can stand in that section, you should be fine. But if it's a loud area, then I understand. You're going to move to a location where it could be a little peaceful and a little quiet. And I'm trying to wait for it to get set because I don't want to jump the gun on the conversation. But once again, ladies and gentlemen, the conversation is hip hop to blame, or sorry, yeah, is hip hop to blame for destroying our black communities? Is it? Is it? Is it really? Do you really think it is? Miss I Speak Live, we're waiting on you. The people's waiting for you.
So the verdict is still out on this one for me. I'm trying to figure out, is it the hip hop artists, the producers? I don't know who's at fault for this epidemic in our culture and our urban areas concerning music and hip hop in general. I mean in particular, but I'm in the area that's kind of loud. It's not conducive to what we're doing right now. I'm sorry, but I'm trying to make it work because I ain't got no internet. If I move over to where I can have quiet.
I understand. Well, you're good right now, so that's good. So
Okay.
the kind of she kind of posed a question right there, ladies and gentlemen. She said, "Is it the rappers? Is it the producers? Is it the if you think about it, the promoters or the record labels?" And I like to challenge y'all to really think about this, right? How many black owned labels do we really have? And you think about them, I mean, it's not too many, right? So you think about what? You got Bad Boys, right? That's probably one of the top ones. You think about No Limit, uh, Aftermath, right? Those are, I mean, even though they have many people running them, but these were started and these are kind of black owned, right? So when you think about those top three black owned record labels that come out and drop albums and have people come out, think about the music they come out with. You know what I'm saying? Think about their catalog and what they portray. You can think about from the 90s all the way up now, but think about what kind of stuff they put out. And now think about these other labels that's not being ran by black companies and what kind of music and stuff that you see. Think about those things. Now, me personally, do I think the hip hop is destroying our community? Um, it is playing its role, But me personally, I do not blame the actual artists. I don't blame the rappers. I don't blame female rappers and male rappers. I actually don't blame them because if they had control, there are certain songs they would put out, but the record labels pick and choose which song they're gonna put out and promote. Before I go more, Miss Speak Live, you want to add anything to that?
No, I agree with you there. Like, I don't think they have full control over the content that's being pushed. They're the artists. They're the creators, but they don't really have the agenda that is being pushed under. So yeah, I agree with you.
Okay. So, um, so I mean, just think about it right now. We'll keep it current for the people who listen to hip hop and all that good stuff. So when you think of, let's talk about Megan Thee Stallion, right? So her and Cardi B did a song which is called the WAP, right? And that song hit the charts and it's crazy. You see the WAP challenge, all this stuff, all on social media, TikTok, all crazy. Now her label that she worked for is not a black owned label, meaning that the people who gave her not endorsement, but gave her money and here's your budget and XYZ. Once she put all her songs together, she sent them up to her people, and everybody, here's the songs I want to promote. They're the ones who actually pick the songs and whatever they want to put out there. Now, back in the day, when a certain song came out, it was like kind of raunchy. Most of the time, those songs didn't come out. Now, some did come out because we know about 3 6 Mafia, Slop on my, that came out. It's out there. It's there. But some of those songs that were really raunchy like that really didn't come out. You didn't really hear about them until you actually bought the CD. So this is something that's been going on forever as far as rappers talking about certain things, whatever. But now those are songs are being promoted as the top songs on the label because I'm gonna say what it is. All black people were easy influence. Hate to say this. We're easily influenced. We see certain things, it's like, oh, that's the wave, that's cool, that's trendy, and that's what we want to do, right? Miss Speak Live, anything you want to add to that?
With no regard, no research, no understanding as to why, just moving because we see people that we might like, and it don't even be that we like them because we don't know these people personally, right?
Right?
We talked about that before when we talked about the TV shows. We don't know these people, so why are we following them like this? Not we, but people.
Right. And I also agree, listen, we all like music, we all like entertainment, right? So I'm not knocking them for having to make their money. I posed a question earlier. What is the difference between actors and rappers, right? Listen, Denzel is one of my favorite black male actors out there right
Mine
now.
too. Mine
You
too.
know, I mean, I'm not gonna lie to y'all. It was Chadwick first. Well, it's the matter of fact, Chadwick Boseman is my number one favorite male actor, and I'm sad I'll get no more movies from him. But his catalog is phenomenal. Denzel's catalog is awesome too. But he did play a role, which is called Train Day, that I think most of us really love. And in that movie, he played a crooked cop. Now he played great movies, Malcolm X, XYZ had great roles, everything. But he played Training Day, and he ended up being a crooked cop, right? A bad cop, gangster role and everything, right? Great movie. He won an Oscar off it, right? But with that being said, I knew it was a movie, number one. And number two, I still didn't want to be a cop. And and if I was a cop, I still not gonna be a crooked cop because I saw Denzel do it, right? But I know that's how he's an actor and he's getting paid. Same thing with these rappers. They make music to support themselves. So they're technically acting. Half of these rappers and female people, whatever, they don't really live what they write. Right? So I think we need to understand is that what you see on TV is really it comes down to it's all entertainment. Rappers, actors, whatever,
With
entertainment.
agenda, it has an agenda attached to it. It's not just fun and games, people.
Yes, I agree. And it does have an agenda because those are things that's pushed on our face. I mean, think about it. Denzel had to play that crooked role as a cop to get an Oscar. Forget all the other movies he had before that, which were great movies. He had to play a crooked cop to win a Oscar. Not saying that was his motive, not saying that was his goal, right? But when that movie came out, it hit the ground running. And if you ask anyone, first thing that popped in your head, Denzel Washington, most people gonna say Training Day. Now he did Malcolm X. Did man look him up? You don't know you missing out. He did a lot of great movies, but that's gonna pop in your head right away. But that's what the media push out. That's what everybody want to see. Because think about it. Once he won the Oscar, if for people who didn't see it, they wouldn't have saw it now because hey, you won Oscar doing Training Day. What are you doing Training Day? And now people see that, and now you, in your head you thinking, oh yeah, black man, they nothing but crooked cops. They this, they that, to the third. But meanwhile, the crooked cops have been white cops forever and still is, and that's a fact.
You
Even
ain't never
we,
lied.
you know what I'm saying. So I guess what they was trying to do is change the narrative. But when all said and done, on this show, the real deal versus how you feel, we speak to accountability and changing the narrative, right? So one thing we like to talk about is how can we change narrative to so our young people understand what you see and listen to is not the gospel, right?
Right.
And I believe in this scenario or these topics we're talking about, it comes to education our youth, right? Like first off, you need to understand that those categories fall under entertainment. Entertainment. Before you watch somebody and feel like that's the gospel, I like what they're talking about, I'm gonna live that life. Do you research on them? Because 80% of them, if not higher, do not really live that life. Some do, but not all of them.
Okay.
And and also if they really live that life based on what they're saying, they're talking about and rapping about, if
Yeah.
they really did those things, they would be in jail.
Right. 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 In real
So
life.
we think in real
Real
life.
life, Joe.
So we think about Bobby Smurda, that the song he had was fire, right? But he rapped about something that he actually did. And guess what? He in jail because of that. So is that the image you want to be? Is that the life you want to live? Because that's what happened when you really live that life. People who really live a life either end up in jail or dead.
Right. And who has the money to try to bail you out? That means you're going to be there for a while. Because even if they did go to jail in real life, they got funds to get out. These other
You don't.
folks. You don't. You don't. And none of your people trying to come get you. I'm telling you. Not for no
Facts.
silly stuff. And that's what we really need to, address. Like, it's just be simple silliness when all you had to do was think about what you was about to do. It's fictional. It's not real. It's someone's imagination, and then it's pushed by an agenda by way of an artist and music.
I agree. And also, you know, this falls on the raising of the kids and the parenting. Because to be honest with you, when a young child is growing up, they're new to the world. They're new to everything they see is new to them. So if you're not exposing your child to positive things, what they see is what they're gonna believe what it is. Especially if they're living in the projects or living in bad conditions, they don't see what things are supposed to be. So, for example, when I was growing up, I'm an '80s baby. I was born in the '80s. I grew up watching shows like The Cosbys, right, which promoted black love, promoted kids going to college, kids going to school, real life scenario, accountability. And they had husbands and wives, but they all had stories. Hell, even the Fresh Prince of Bel Air was a great show too. They had family.
Sure,
Will was a
indeed. They
kid
can
from
bring some of these shows back. And leave these
right.
reality TV shows, never mind.
Even
That's a different
for
conversation.
you think about Family Matters with Steve Urkel. Listen, they made it cool to be a nerd, right?
Mm-hmm. He
you
was
know,
bagging Laura.
he Bangalore. Even
He
even
did.
even when he switched it up, even when Steve Urkel, you think about it, the whole transformation. He went from
When he
Steve to
became Steve
Stefan.
Urkel. Oh, yeah, Stefan
Yeah, Steve.
Urkel.
Yeah, more like you can look at that as him being now hitting puberty or maturing in life. Because there's a lot of men who start out as nerdy dudes into gadgets and games and all that stuff, and then all of a sudden one day, boom, they Rico Suave, but they still that same guy. You understand what I'm saying? It's
Yep, and
called
we see a
growth.
lot of them same behaviors when they get older, when they be how what you gonna say in the back of the class, but not to really make that point of it, but you know, that same thing kind of shows up in the lack of, or in the not the lack of, but the facade of. You know what I mean? They have a different
Yes,
facade.
right. And also, if you think about it now, the only TV shows out there that show a black family together is Blackness, right? Now I
Well,
haven't been watching
Blackish.
it all. I'm
Blackish.
sorry, Blackish. Excuse me, my part. Blackish. But that's one show out of a million shows out there.
Yeah, and then you got
And
what, Grownish now? It's a spinoff of Blackish.
oh, it is okay. Yeah, see, I don't watch much TV because I unclocked out of TV because TV don't show nothing good or positive about us. Like I watch TV and I get frustrated. Like, you know what? I start watching it. But what I'm going back to what I was saying is that when you have little kids, kids should like no child, no one from the age between the age of 5 up to maybe 10 or 12. Mm, shouldn't really they really shouldn't be on TikTok. They really shouldn't be on Instagram. And if they are on those social media platforms, they need to be supervised. Yes, supervised. You need to be able to see, you need to have passwords and everything. Matter of fact, you should have, because on IG, you can have two logins. You need to have your login and your kids' login.
Yeah, you can't just have these kids on these social media networks with no governing
Right. And the reason
parental guidance.
because they're seeing stuff that I didn't see until I had a certain age. They seeing stuff right now. We think about
And
it. If,
and the sad
go
part
ahead.
is they're not prepared for it. So then they see it and they don't know what to really do with it. You know,
No, right. They don't know how
they don't know
to
how to process
digest
it.
it.
Yeah.
Right. And then if the mom or dad are not around because they doing working hard, providing, they don't got time to really explain it to you. So you learn that stuff on the street through your friends. I mean, think about this. When I was young, someone said, "Oh, a girl can't get pregnant if she's on top." That was
Is
something
that what
that
they told you?
that's what they yes, that's what I heard as a young man growing up. If a
Oh
girl's on
my
top,
goodness.
she can't get pregnant.
Shaking my head, bro.
But I'm just saying, but at that time frame in my life, I didn't get the education. So I took that as a gospel, right?
Right.
Now eventually I didn't have sex till later on, but I did learn that that was a lie. Right? But that's why it's so important for us to have these conversations with our kids so they can be prepared in the world because there's a lot of people who really thought that and people got pregnant in high school because they didn't think they get pregnant if the girl's on top. Like I'm just being honest with you. This is not a I'm making stuff up. This is the actual fact. But we as parents, we need to take accountability of what our kids watch and see. And sometimes we need to make sure we work make sure what they watching on TV. And also we need to make sure they watch certain things. Like we need to police them. Like, listen, before you can do XYZ, I need you to watch this movie. And after watch this movie, I want you to give me a summary of what the movie's about and what your thought is about it. It don't gotta be a full summary, but tell me your thoughts about it. Let's talk about it.
Right.
We don't
You have to be proactive and over involved almost. Because if you know that you can click on one of these social media sites, let's just say you at church or you at the bank or something, and you have no can you hear me? You have no control over what comes through on those sites. You scrolling up and it could be anything could pop up. It ain't even like you're looking for it. So if you know that that could happen to you, why would you just allow your young people, to just have that access like that? Back in the day, you used to have to search for porn. You don't have to search for it now. It comes to you.
that is a fact. That is a fact. But
You
yes, so go ahead. Oh, connection breaking up. When she comes back, we're gonna hit play to see. When she comes back, we're gonna hit.
I'm so
Oh,
glad you said that because for me, my son has to read a book, a chapter book a week, and write a book report on it every week.
that's it. You're keeping your son accountable. You're keeping yourself accountable. You know what he's reading. Also, you're learning what's his mental that you know what I'm saying. It gives you the understanding and see how his brain work. Because if he can give you a complete summary of a book that he write down to the T, then you know okay he can comprehend. He know what's going on, so you can have these conversations. And if you want to say to that, Miss I
right,
speak life.
and it doesn't give him access to it. It just holds him at a place of being governed, and not just that, but active and doing something different than. So his entertainment for or his level of attraction for that type of entertainment, he's not gonna have. His interest is going to be piqued in different ways because he's reading. So he'll have more of an exploration, a different type of peak to entertainment. It won't be based on this social stuff, this social media stuff, and the nonsense that come along with it. Because his brain is being
Fact.
stimulated differently, even though it's the same amount of time might be going into it. It's a different stimulation, which is important.
Uh,
Shout out to Platinum Hands for that, because it's very important that we stimulate our children's mind and understand that just because they could have access to it doesn't mean they should have access to it.
that's true. And I'll give y'all a story about the influence, like the influence of hip hop, right? So me growing up, I wasn't allowed to listen to hip hop in my house, right? I grew up listening to Ozzy Brothers and the OJs and Gap Band and all them stuff. That's how I grew up. I grew up listening to record players, even though I was born in the 90s. I was raised in the 90s, but I didn't listen to rap until I at least got 16, right? But one day my dad asked me and my brother a question, right? Because, at that time in the 90s, Biggie was the biggest thing going on. Baby,
It's so
baby,
funny how
R.I.P.
our stories are so similar.
So, so, so Big was the biggest thing, right? You could not hear Biggie. We still were allowed to watch BET and MTV, and of course back then those videos were censored or whatever, so you can hear no craziness or see any craziness. The point I'm trying to get at is this: my dad asked me and my brother about Notorious Big, right? And he said, "Tell me what does Notorious mean?" Right? Me and my brother, a little kid, talking about, "Oh, it means big. It means fat." At that moment, my dad said, "No more watching BET rap for y'all."
Look,
Cause
I
y'all
was trying
too.
to you know how we be blinking the microphone when we.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to hear like, go ahead. I
So
can't do that in Clubhouse.
yeah. That said, y'all dummies, y'all big dummies. No, Notorious means well known. See, and like if I had a test in school about Notorious, I probably pick big, fat,
Right.
but
That's
it means
funny.
well known. And that's once again influence of hip hop. I just assumed that his name is Notorious Big, so I figured he called himself Notorious Big because he a big guy. So I'm Notorious Big. I'm not big.
Oh, you
I'm
thought it was an
Notorious
adjective.
Big. You're right.
Oh my goodness.
Now, once again, ladies and gentlemen, this is me as a little kid, but this is the example I'm going to give you about the influence. And at that point, my dad said, "Nope, no more hip hop for y'all because y'all don't know the difference." And he made a
Right.
point. You know what I'm saying? So that's why it's so important that you not monetize, but monitor what your kids do and what they see all the time. Is that's that important? We got to
So
take
with all the
accountability.
right, because that's what I was about to go. With that being said, can you really blame hip hop if that be the case? Because now it falls back on who's governing these children that's listening to this music that's not really made for them.
And
Notorious
the gov,
B.I.G. music
yeah,
wasn't for kids. It's just that
nope,
kids had access because they weren't being governed. The
facts.
parental guidance, the lack of parental guidance is the issue. So if you ask me, do I think hip hop is destroying our youth and our urban communities? No, I think the lack of parental guidance and governing is because these kids have access to too many things instead of the parents taking initiative and time, like Platinum Hands. And even if it's not a book, there's so many different things you could do, arts and crafts. Y'all can work out that 30-minute workout thing,
Thank you.
so
I
many
was ready to
different
say that.
things that you could do
Yes.
with your children, not only to bond, to build a bond between you and them, but to keep them away from things that's not healthy for them. It's not conducive for their development.
Listen, I wish somebody was listening and somebody was trying to argue to say that no, hip hop is the reason, the artist is the reason why. Because
Hmm.
like you just said before, I said think about this: how many kids below 16 year old is paying for a cable bill? How many
Not,
kids
no,
under
no,
16
no.
year old? It's right. How many kids under 16 year olds paying for an iPad, a cell phone, a computer, a laptop? How many kids is doing that under 16?
No,
So
no, no.
PlayStation, Xbox. So the point I'm trying to make is that we, the parents, give our kids these access to these things,
Hmm.
and then we give them to them will and dilly without any supervision, thinking that they're just kids, they're gonna know. I was a kid at once. I break stuff, put it back together. I'll do stuff that I shouldn't do with it, right? So the cycle does continue. So if you just give your kid a tablet and the
Right,
World Wide Web is unlimited access, they're gonna search whatever.
right. Whatever you have access to with no governor, you better put some parental do come with parental restraints, you know?
Yep. And even add to it too, you can still police your kids, right, to everything what they should not see and do, right? But also, their friends may not get that same type of level of monitoring, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you still gotta pay attention to what their kids who they hang
You
around.
trying
And
to put yeah,
there's certain kids,
you trying to deflect from what you're supposed to be doing with
yes, you breaking up.
is gonna hurt it.
You breaking up a little bit, Miss I Speak Life. So yeah, so the
I
kind of
know. You can't put that on top of this. This has to come off first.
hey, mute your mic, mute your mic, mute your mic, mute your mic. So the kind of still continue what I was saying as well on that point is that when it comes to your friends, your kid, your kid's friend, you have to monitor and see what's the influence you bring around your kids. Listen, when I was growing up, there were certain kids I wasn't allowed to hang around with. You know, if it wasn't at school, that was it. I couldn't even go to the house and chill out, watch TV because they didn't have the same principles and morals that I had growing up. So sometimes I have friends, but there's some friends I couldn't really hang with besides at school. It makes sense now. When you get mature, you can do that when you get older. But when you're young, you don't want your kids being exposed to certain things because once they get exposed, they'll all be seeking to get more of it. Once you see a little glimpse of something, now you want to get more of it. Now, of course, we can't shield our kids forever, which I understand. But at the same time, you still have the means and resources to control the narrative as far as what they watch, what they see, and what they
Mm-hmm.
believe.
I
you
couldn't
know?
even spend the night over people's house. So, like going to other folks' house wasn't even a thing growing up.
Oh, yeah. That was
That,
definitely.
that wasn't a
Listen,
thing.
I didn't
You
spend the night
spend
at
time
my friend's
alone.
house. I didn't spend the night at my friend's house until I turned like 16. And on top of that, my brother had to be with me as well. So if I'm spending the night, he's spending the night. There's no one by itself. We ain't doing that. And if I have a daughter, she probably never spend the night at no girl's house. And if they do, it'd be here.
I know. Same thing for me. Like I don't think that I'm gonna allow my daughter to, not stay out. Nah, it got to be like family, and really, it'll only be like my mother and them. Yeah, it couldn't be like just friends. Not even cousins. I don't know. That's just how I am.
Listen, right? Because sometimes a lot of these things happen in house too with family members. So we're not gonna get in the whole topic though, but still. So yeah. But once again, ladies and gentlemen, we're changing the narrative. It's really not it's really not the hip hop that's destroying the black community. It's when it's all said and done, it's us, the people. We are destroying our own black neighborhood. I'll be honest with you. I mean, yes, we have all these systems and things against us, but we can no longer keep using it as an argument now, talking about, well, the system or the man. I get that. Those do play a part. But once again, kids under 16-year-old can't buy an iPad. They can't buy a cell phone. They can't buy a PlayStation. They can't buy a tablet. They can't, they TVs in their room. Those are all things that you provide to your kid. And it's your job as a parent to police those things. And on
Mm-hmm.
top of that, just have conversation with your kids. Some of y'all might be in the house with y'all kids, but y'all really don't have conversation with them. Y'all don't sit down and talk to your kids. You tell them go to their room.
Right, right.
So you need to spend time and have open dialogue conversation with the kids to understand what their mindset's at.
Right, and then
And
it really, I mean, not to like you said, go off topic, but and not to just kill the parents off, but kind of like, listen, we got to do a better job because it's like, what is your goal for your children? What is your real goal here? Like, what do you see for them? If you're comfortable with putting a tablet in front of them and it's not even a learning activity, it's not a Kumon, it's not anything that's going to benefit them and learning or social skills or anything like that. So yeah.
listen, even with my own kids, I don't even ask them like I don't even ask them about bring me your phone. No, no, I want to be a surprise. Just like when you start working, they may do a surprise drug test. I'm gonna be a surprise check. I'm the dad. I'm gonna walk up on you and grab your phone while you playing with it and scroll through your phone right in front of you and see
Yeah, I
what you're
do that
looking
all
at
the time.
and see what you're doing. And then I'm gonna ask you questions about stuff that I see to make sure that we're all in alignment, agreement, that you understand what you're doing or what you're looking at.
Yeah, and not from a place of distrust, but from a place of look, I gotta make sure you know to stay on what you're supposed to be on, and you know that I love you enough to make sure that you're gonna stay on what you're supposed to be on. You know, we hear about these same families that like these privileged families, and what these kids really be wanting is some parental guidance. They really be wanting to feel like you care about them enough to mind what they're doing. So, but that's important. It's important. But yeah, the narrative, hip hop is destroying our community. I don't know. I can't subscribe to that.
Nah,
I grew up on hip
we
hop.
right. And so technically what we're doing right now, we debunking that theory. That theory is wrong. It's a wrong narrative. It's a fake narrative. It's the same narrative they try to push talking about black on black crime. Nope, debunked. Not
Right,
even real
right.
thing.
And I mean,
Changing
there's
there.
there's some people who would not pay attention and maybe just listen to something and do something, but that's not the majority. You know what I mean? That's not the
Right.
majority.
Right. That's why anytime we have this conversation about any topic, ladies and gentlemen, it's never an all. It's majority, it's some, most, but it's never all, right?
Yeah,
So
it's
you
never.
can't take you can't take these one-off scenarios and use it as a blanket statement for everyone across the board, right? You just can't. You can't say a black man wearing a hoodie deserves to die because he looks like a threat. No, that's not the case. Because at the end of the day, our boy Trayvon Martin had Skittles and a T, not a threat, right? So every black man you see with a hoodie is not a gangster. Change the narrative. It's
Corn.
not a blanket statement. You understand what I'm
Hmm.
saying?
Right. I had the conversation I told you this morning, really. And one of the conversations, the dude was saying that George Floyd, he basically blamed George Floyd. He blamed Breonna Taylor. He's saying the way he's going to help his community is to tell other black folks not to believe the lies about the police. I said, see, oh, here we are trying to make sure that people don't believe hip hop is destroying the community. When you talk about black on black crime, that's worse than shooting somebody. When you
Yeah,
come with that type of rhetoric, that's terrible.
that's true. And but I mean, of course, you're gonna have those people, and when those people like that, I call them yes men. But those people like that, it, we can't fix. You can't change or fix everybody, or get everybody to understand what's going on. So you still gonna have those
And that's what he
regardless,
was saying. He was saying, I can't save everybody. I was like, well, who are you trying to save?
right? But when you
You
say
know?
something that ignorant, come on now.
Yeah, he said a lot of blanketed, ignorant things and had saving people on his mind is what he was trying to get people to believe. But, not to get off topic, like we said, we are debunking this whole myth of hip hop destroying the youth and the community. It's not. Let's put the limelight on the agenda pushers, the producers, and everything like that, and put the accountability where it needs to be on the parents that are not governing these children.
Right,
And not just not governing them, to them that, hey, this is someone's imagination, or this is just someone's creativity. This is not reality. This should not be a busted challenge. These grown women, like, you're not even making men work for it. This the silhouette challenge. You're just giving it to them. At least get dollars. Yeah,
yeah,
likes and heart. Like, what the heck?
yeah. And just kind of a little piggyback on that, right? When you think about the Busted Up Challenge, the WAP, all the songs, everything that came out there, everybody, all the little dances everybody was doing, right? It still falls on. Yes, she wrote the song. Yes, she sang it. But guess what? The promoters, and the label mates, they promoted it and put it out there because they're using that to trigger, not trigger, but to destroy the black community, right? But even on top of that too, let's be honest. When you think of songs like the WAP, whatever, me personally as a guy, I can't tell you. I don't know the verse of the songs. I know none of the verses.
Yeah, you ain't the only one, brother. I don't know the verse to the
Right.
song.
I don't know the verses all, but the only reason why I know about it because millions of women have partake into the challenge that they do, silhouette challenge and everything. Well, ladies, if you don't want, to be over sexualized, I need y'all to stop doing these challenges for these songs, right? I get it.
Right, and we talking about the youth. We adults. What
Right.
is going on with the adults? They
And
want to
let's
be
be
young.
and
They
let's be
haven't
honest.
accepted adulthood. They haven't accepted their parental roles either. A lot of them.
Sad.
Oh,
And
we
let's
talking about roles.
and if you look at the challenges, the silhouette challenge and all that, these are not being done by little kids. These are being done
Mm-hmm.
by mature women.
Yep.
Okay. I-
Educated women. Oh, I'm a
right.
college. Yeah, you sure? Because you just gave it to them for free, darling. You
Right.
the type of
And
person I would have as a friend in school, and I'd be like, hey, give me $10 and I'm gonna set y'all up on a date. Yeah, I'm gonna pimp you because you're not you listen. You don't want to get the dollars for it. I'm gonna get the dollars for it.
right.
And I'm just
So
being honest. Like
so
y'all
once
out here
again,
silhouette challenging for free, adults. So no, y'all are the reason.
it is. It is. So once again, it still debunks when people try to fight and say it's the artist, it's not the artist. It's us. We have to be more accountable because if we don't promote these songs or these challenges, right? Guess what? You won't see it. You won't hear about it. People
No.
people drop albums all the time, and some people you never hear of. But have you noticed that it always the ladies sexualized being promoted?
Mm.
I'm just saying. And this is not.
Can't
I mean,
can't
and this is
argue with that.
still. And this is not like really trying to change the narrative. This is still speak on the narrative of the hip hop community. No, they're
Mm.
not to blame because if no one does any challenge, guess what? The record sales won't go up. It won't be a number one sale. But I get it. She gotta make her money, so I understand what she's doing. I'm not mad at her because
Because
if
it's
you
an
have to,
art.
it's an art. Like I had a conversation with somebody before, right? I can't remember what it was, but we was talking about Trina, right?
Mm-hmm.
Trina, she the
Damn,
baddest bee,
Trina
right?
back in the day, yeah.
Trina back in the day. You know what I'm saying? That's what I grew up on. You don't know Nan? Nan? You know her? Yeah, I know her, the baddest. Yeah, I know her.
Been the places I've been. Yeah.
Hey. So the point I'm trying to make with that is this. Listen, everyone wants to live the Trina persona as far real life, whatever. But you don't want to be the woman Trina, because Trina wasn't that. She's not that on her daily
Right.
life.
That was her role
That's
on
her acting
stage.
role. That's her
Yeah.
stage role. That's her loving hip hop role. But if you met Trina in real life, you never heard her being crazy or whatever in a relationship. You understand what I'm
Right.
saying?
Right.
Like y'all need to understand that these are people acting. This is people's poetry. This is how people feel. But you think she's doing these things in front of her husband when she at home or when they out in public? She ain't acting all wild. She is. Yes, baby, no problem, whatever,
And
and
all her
not
femininity.
right. And I'm not trying to make it seem like she's something that she's not. Like she's bound down to no man. I'm not even saying that. I'm just saying that when she with her man, all that, even Nicki Minaj. Nicki Minaj, she all over the place. But you don't when she a mother now. But now when she with her man, you don't hear her being out in public talking about Nicki Minaj at the club, dancing on tables and stuff. Never.
Mm-hmm.
Even Beyonce, you see Beyonce in the bikini walking around XYZ. But when she with Jay Z when her kids, you don't hear Beyonce acting crazy, turn up.
Yeah, it's a
So
time and a place for everything. But if you don't teach the kids that Santa Claus ain't
facts.
real, that he ain't real, and neither is loving hip hop, then you leading them down the road of destruction.
Right.
It's no
The,
different than the white man's fairy tales with, the Easter Bunny, the Tooth Fairy, and all these things. Eventually, you got to let these kids know that it's not real.
see, now we talking now. See, people ain't trying to hear that. People ain't trying to hear that. I killed a
Why
whole.
are you even lying to them like that? Why we even subscribe to that dumb stuff?
Well,
That's the stuff that I
because
don't understand.
it's funny the fact you said that. Somebody asked me a question. We was talking about Santa Claus or Christmas stuff, and like they're like, at what age did you tell your kids no Santa Claus? I said my kids never heard no Santa Claus. He don't know no Santa Claus. Santa Claus is right, and the woman was like, really? How could you do that? No, you should let them do
They little
it.
feelings be hurt. My baby
Yeah,
did
feels
the same
hurt.
thing when she was younger. I done
Right.
messed around. I told my son he ain't tell nobody. He just was like he like me. He like to be in the know. He don't necessarily got to tell nobody. He know what's up. well, my daughter is more of a social butterfly. So when she was in like pre-K or whatever, like in the daycare with her grandmother, I told her Santa Claus wasn't real. She went and she told the whole class Santa Claus wasn't real. When I say these people were so upset with me, why would you do such a thing? How could you tell her that? I'm like, why would y'all lie to her? And why are y'all lying to y'all children? No, my daughter's gonna know Santa Claus is not real. There's no such thing. So yeah, it'd be the adults that really be feeding the bull crap to the kids and then maintaining it, and then wonder why they be jacked up later. We got to do
Right.
better.
Right.
Oh, we got a
So
message. Okay, go ahead. When you done, I'm gonna
right.
press play.
All right, cool. Right. So that's what I'm saying. You would sit here and lie to your kids about all these holidays, Christopher Columbus and all that, but you won't tell your kids that Nicki Minaj or Cardi B, that's not who they are. They're just acting. Don't believe what they're saying. This is just acting. You understand? You see what I'm saying? The correlation? But as a man or any woman or man
It's all
gets,
connected. It's all fluff.
yeah,
For
right.
your
But if you
own what? What do you gain from telling the kid any of these things? And one person said it, even when they told me a better way, not to just bust the kid's bubble like Santa Claus ain't real. Okay, yeah, we could be tender and providing knowledge and say, oh, you think Santa Claus is real? Pose it as a question. Let them do some research. And that's going to do another thing like, having them read the book and do a report. It's going to intrigue them. It's going to stimulate their minds. That's why I promote homeschooling and stuff like that. But not if parents too lazy to, participate in the
mm-hmm.
homeschooling curriculum. That's like, come on, guys. Let me go ahead and press play.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I reckon Twinsinc has got a massive penis.
Okay. We're gonna continue the conversation here.
Oh Lord, these trolls be too crazy for me. Okay.
Hey, that's probably one of your friends from early last
No,
night,
no, don't
whatever.
put it on me.
But
Please don't put it on me. I don't have nothing to do with that. He's one of
listen,
them pushing that stupid narrative.
right, right. But honestly, so that's all we getting at is that you can't be playing. You can't be playing on the fence. You got to make a decision. Either you gonna tell the kids the truth about these people out here, right? Or you
Hmm.
gonna keep the fluff because once again, Santa Claus, all these St. Patrick days, all these holidays, you don't say nothing about to your kids, and they grow up believing these things, most of them. But then when you tell them have a conversation with them, talking about what these rappers and actors do on TV, it's all entertainment. It's not real. They don't do these things in
Yeah.
real life.
Right. And you shouldn't want your children to be emulating what they see on TV if it don't
Facts.
correlate with what goes on in real life. Like you said, family matters and things like that. Okay, that had some direct correlation to how families should be structured, or the Cosby Show and some of these things, how families were structured. They had goals set inside. Kids was going to college and all these different things, and sitting at the dinner table together and having discussions. If these
Think,
shows, if these shows not,
listen. Think about this TV show here. I want to say different world, right? Different world with my main man Wayne with the glasses. Think about this. This was a TV show about college kids going to college and going to a black college to add on top of that.
right, right, and you don't hear nothing about different world no more.
There's no TV show out now that's promoting that right now in our communities or this period on entertainment wise. It's all about get the money, get the bag, fighting, ratchetness, tough guy, tough woman. That's what's out there now in the world. All right, you
Yeah.
gotta be careful. You gotta be careful when you hit play here. We might have to block this if you say something crazy again.
All right, all right. I don't know if
Hey,
she said.
Mrs. I Speak Life. Hi, Twins Inc.
Hey,
Hi, Miss. So you, Mrs. Life, as I like to call you. So you ain't taking today off for doing the Lord's work all this morning?
I told you, twin. I
see,
ain't
there
getting
you
no
go.
sleep, sis. But
See,
no, this is what we do. We have these shows scheduled, so I'm here. I just feel like we plant a seed or we water one and God makes the increase. So I just was trying to do my part and I left it alone after I got the word from the men in the room. Like, okay, twins, you know how I am. If you would have been there, like, okay, that's enough, I would sit myself down. Like, okay, Look, I ain't going toe to toe with the man, especially if I know the man got concern for me. So it was the dude, smack talker. He came in, you know, I don't curse. So when he came in the room, he was like, "That's pure foolishness. He's just being foolish." So I stopped talking. But the queen that just left a message, she look, we was trying with this young man. We were really trying, twins, really trying. But that's the whole point of what we talking about. If we keep telling these kids that Santa Claus is real, and we keep telling these kids to believe in these fairy tale holidays, and we keep telling these kids all this stuff, they think when they get to college, and they done got money from the tooth fairy and all this dumb nonsense that they know something. And that's
Right.
basically what the young man, he live in a fairy tale. He not living reality. He live in a fairy tale. So it's all right. I did my part.
Listen, I'm the tooth
I,
fairy.
I, I planted the seed. Did my part.
Listen, I'm the tooth fairy. I'm Santa Claus. I'm all those things.
And I none of those things. My kids ain't see the tooth fairy. They ain't see no Santa Claus. They ain't see no Easter bunny.
I'm all those things.
I ain't got time. I was like, nope, it don't exist. It's not real. It's someone's imagination. Use your own imagination. Create your own thing. And I encourage that in my kids. Oh, you want to be a gymnast? You want to be a gymnast? Okay, go to gymnastics school. Oh, you want to be a photographer? All right, let me buy you a camera. Well, you want to be a lyricist? You want to do those? And I created those spaces for them because I think that's what's important, to influence them to have whatever their natural niche is, not to keep them as in follower mode, to just be following behind somebody and whatever people say.
Then I agree. The influence at this point needs to be the parents. Your kids should want to be just like you. What are you doing out there that the kids don't want to emulate you as an adult when they get older? Why are they
Mm-hmm.
looking? Why are they looking into social media as far as what they want to be in life? That's a problem I have there. When I was growing up, I wanted to be like my dad. Even though
Mm-hmm.
Michael Jordan was the man, I wanted to play like Mike, right? I wanted to jump from the foul line, jump in the air, acrobatic shots. I want to do all that. But in the day, who I want to be like? My dad.
Right, right.
Sorry.
Because you had a direct connect. You had a
Right.
representative in your present, and that's the problem. Some of these parents don't want to be present. They don't want to represent in their children's present, and that's what we got to start talking to the parents, not talking at them, but talking to them where they understand. Look, this is how it's done. That's the way the narrative changed. You can't just keep bashing them about what they don't do. We got to show them different ways and avenues of how to get it done.
And that's it. You have to show them.
They
Better than
come.
tell them. Show them.
All
You can
right,
hit
let me go
play.
press play.
Yeah, so I would definitely like to add on to what y'all saying in terms of like being honest with children. And I think I was so blessed growing up because I didn't have to go through the process of unlearning because like up front I wasn't told like, all right, this is all commercialized BS. Like this is about getting your money, this is about what we could get. And I'm full. I'm like, what are you talking about commercialized? What the hell commercialized even even mean? I just want a bike. It's not even that complicated. But understanding that helped me grow and helped me understand and not kind of have a resentment about being lied to. I think people take it so lightly that we lie to children and then we got to break them the news and then we expect them to grow up to be trusting adults. Why would they trust
Mm.
anything when the major holidays is a lie for them?
Ooh,
Mm-hmm.
see, now you talking now. That's what I'm
That's what
talking
I'm saying.
about. See,
And I
and
like
that's
the way
why.
she
No,
didn't have to be untaught, because that's all you're gonna do is you got to go and recant everything you done told them from 0 to 10. That's stupid.
right.
You know
Listen,
what
my
you
kids
could
are.
do in 10 years. You know what kind of stock information they could have in 10 years. You know what kind of real estate information you could impart in your children within 10 years. I'm
Listen,
just saying.
you're changing the narrative right now. Listen, my kids in school right now, 8 and 7, right? Martin Luther King Jr. holiday just passed, right?
Hmm.
My kids know he was killed. He didn't just die. He was murdered.
Murder, right?
You know what I'm saying? That's what happened. It was. we I make it clear to them. They learn about Christopher Columbus. I tell them he wasn't the first person to find America. My kids know.
Mm-hmm.
I understand they have to learn it to pass the test, but I let them know like Christopher Columbus is not the person. Like all these lies that I grew up on and learned, my
You
kids
won't
will
go
not. Yeah,
right.
right,
You want them to have better. You don't want them to have the same struggle you had. Not mental, not emotional, like psychological, not social, none of that.
right. Because my kids don't come back to me and tell me, Dad, why you lying to me? Why you never tell me about this? I'm out here believing this. This is not even true. No, 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 not me. You gonna get the real deal. Real deal versus how you feel right
Versus how
now.
you feel.
You gonna get information right now. So once again, ladies and gentlemen, I mean, we're just going in points of why the hip hop is not the blame for our youth. The hip hop starts in our home. What our kids see, listen, and hear is what we allow them to see, listen, and hear. It's just that simple. And even if they go out in the street, school, friends, whatever they hear it there, that's understandable. We can't go off from everything, but as long as they have the base roots of everything, that's fine. Because we can't control everything, right? Kids gonna learn
Right,
stuff on their own.
right.
But as long as the
You instill them
foundation,
to believe. You instill them to come for you, come to you for what's real and what's not. You know, they're supposed to bring what they experience on the outside to you for validation or dismissal.
right? The foundation needs to be sturdy. So when they get the truth, there's no problem because the foundation is strong. You can hit play, Miss I Speak Life.
And honestly though, we just gotta put in the extra work. I know it's frustrating, like, yo, I pay taxes, I send these kids to the school, they need to give them the right information. But all your children need multiple levels of information. Like, think about how equipped they are if, yeah, they got all of the school stuff, so they could relate and hear it and see it coming. But on the back end, they got the real information. And then on the deeper end, they got economic information, and they got, that creates confidence. That creates awareness. That creates you being able to function in society and, and grow to be a decent human being. Like, I think that's the issue. We got too much stuff that we like not built on. We got to start building on certain principles to raise us up, and that's why this talk is so important.
Thank you, Queen. Absolutely. We gotta have a foundation. We have to. That is a major part of the identity crisis that our people are going through right now. They don't know what to believe. They don't know where they come from. They don't know anything, and no one's trying to root them and ground them in anything. Kept talking to the young man last night. He said he believed in the word. The brother came, read the scripture. He got pushed back. I read the scripture. I say, look, do you believe the scripture? I ain't say nothing else but the scripture, and ask him, do he believe it? He would not answer. He couldn't answer. Okay, is the sky blue? Yes or no? You know, it's just that airhead. He don't even realize how much air he got in his head. He really think he got education up there. He think he got knowledge and wisdom, and he lacks so much of it. And I just was like, it's sad because you got a two-parent home, and you like she's tried to tell him last night, you're misrepresenting the whole principle of two-family home. You're a terrible representative. No one's gonna believe you had a mom and a dad based on this nonsense you're talking about.
Yeah,
It's
that would
hard to
be
believe it.
yeah, that would be a prime example of the blind leading the blind going nowhere.
Mm-hmm.
And yes,
Yeah,
Queen,
but
everything you said is on point. I agree. Everything that you said, we're in agreement. And listen, I understand parents, mom, dad, single mom, single dad. I get it. I understand that. Sometimes you just tired. I get it. But at the end of the day, you have to put the sacrifice in. We all had choice and decision of having the kids,
mm-hmm.
so we can't make excuses of why we didn't do something, whatever. And I get it. I mean, there's some days you're gonna be just chill back and let them do whatever. But long as you have that foundation, you have a real conversation with them. And I know, I'm gonna tell my 4-year old XYZ. Right, I understand that, but you need to have some conversation. You start slow and you keep building as they get mature and more older. You need to. It's our job as parents to change the narrative and make sure our kids are well equipped for the real world. Because once you leave the house, you will be shocked. There's no going back. So
Mm-hmm.
if you're not equipped in this world, you will be food. You will get ate. It's just that
A
simple.
lie.
You just
A
get that
lie.
simple, and people don't care. Let's be clear. People don't not gonna care about you in these streets. And when I
Yep.
say
When you
streets, I'm
leave
talking
your
about
house, you know I say it
yeah,
all the time. When you leave home, you a number. Social security number, driver's license number, insurance
credit
ID
score.
number, credit
Hmm.
card number, bank ID number. You a number. These people don't care nothing about you. As soon as you leave that threshold at home. So, but twins, I think this has been a dope show. You know what I mean? I appreciate you guys listening. Oh, we got another message. Hold on.
Yeah, I'm not. This goes into that. I don't have children, so I'm speaking from a very observative place. I'm not speaking from my personal. But what I noticed was my father had got sick, and so I'm worried. But then so many people came to I came to the hospital to see him, and somebody was like, "Yo, it was a sister up here. Like your sister was up here." I was like, I'm saying yeah, just because yeah. Come to find out, so many people came to help him. And I'm like, thank you. And I had to thank him. I said, thank you for establishing friendships and relationships and bonds with people. So when
Mm.
things happen to you in your life, all of that burden don't go on their kids or go on your kids, because having friendships help your kids to see how to have friendships and creates that network of people you need. I'm sorry.
Now you're good, and that will be a prime example of leaving a legacy or having a legacy. Because, like
Mm-hmm.
you said, everyone can. That means your father had a man. He's a man of great integrity and leadership. Because, like you said, people was coming up, people you probably even know, just coming support and helping out because that's the way his character is. So, honor. And also, I heard you say earlier you don't have any kids. Awesome job. Make sure you marry before you carry. Something we're changing the narrative too as well. So good job. But it's hey, I'm glad that you're able to sit back and see things happen. So now once you get into a relationship, you know how things work.
Peace.
So continue being great, Queen. Go ahead, Miss Speak Life. You can go ahead. You got the floor.
No, I was just saying, like, I was going to say thank you, but then we had the message. But back to the queen, it's good to hear that other people, even if you don't have a kid, you can see the potential issue and you can present a solution. You know what I mean? And I think as long as a solution, anybody can glean from that. You don't necessarily have to have a kid to understand. Like, look, I can observe. You know what I mean? And from my observation, I see where this stuff can be better if we, change the narrative. So
Awesome, awesome. Well, I mean, we can wrap up here. Let's anything else come in. I think we beat this subject up long enough. So if anyone else in the future, if you
we
want to
supposed to
chime,
trying to, yeah, we just gonna do an hour because we trying to do another show today at 7 to see if we could get peak listeners at that time and see how that goes for us. But you guys could also visit us on Clubhouse at 8:30. Right, that's tonight at 8:30 in Clubhouse. Change the narrative, position and posture. 7 p.m. We're gonna try to swing back on here. Hopefully, I'll be in a better area, in a better
mm-hmm,
situation. Yeah,
right?
because this is annoying the fool out of me. You have no idea. Like, I'm super duper annoyed, but that's okay. It's all right. You just choose to do things differently next time.
It's
You
all
know.
good. We build it
Yeah.
as we grow.
Mhm.
But
But all
once
right.
again, thanks for everyone tuning in. If you like the show, just tune in tonight at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. If you have any topics you want to speak on, send an email at the real deal versus how you feel at Gmail, all lowercase. And we'll be glad to speak on the topic and definitely love to have you chime in as well with your thoughts process. But once again, thank you for all. And Miss Speak Life, I'll let you close it out from there.
Thank you guys for joining the real deal versus how you feel. It's your girl, Miss I Speak Life, and of course my brother and friend.
Twinsinc.
See y'all again at 7. Later.
Bye.